Describe an occasion when you got lost and needed help. You should say when and where it was, what happened, how you felt, and say how you found your way. Total time frame, 2 minutes. 1. Introduction, 0 to 15 seconds. Briefly introduce the incident, when and where it took place. 2. Setting the scene, 15 to 35 seconds. Describe the location and the context, why you were there, time of day, environment. 3. What happened, 35 to 65 seconds. Explain how you got lost, the sequence of events, and any challenges you faced. 4. Feelings and reactions, 65 to 95 seconds. Share your emotions, confusion, anxiety, embarrassment, and how you handled the situation. 5. How you found your way, 95 to 115 seconds. Describe the help you received or actions you took to get back on track. 6. Conclusion, 115 to 120 seconds. Reflect on the experience and any lessons learned from it. 1. Introduction, 0 to 15 seconds. State when and where the incident happened. Suggested ideas. 1. Recent travel mishap. Unexpected detour, unfamiliar route, sudden disorientation. 2. Specific location. Crowded marketplace, remote hiking trail, foreign city center. 3. Time frame. Early morning rush, late night outing, during a festival. Example sentences. A few months ago, I experienced an unexpected detour while visiting the old quarter of Hanoi. It was late in the evening, and the bustling streets made me feel disoriented on an unfamiliar route. 2. Setting a scene, 15 to 35 seconds. Give background on why you were there and the environment. Suggested ideas. 1. Purpose of visit. Sightseeing trip, business meeting, visiting friends. 2. Environmental details. Narrow alleyways, identical-looking buildings, heavy traffic. 3. Complicating factor. Poor lighting, language barrier, lack of phone signal. Example sentences. I had gone there to meet a friend for dinner, but the narrow alleyways and identical-looking shop fronts confused me. The dim street lights and occasional language barrier made it even harder to navigate. 3. What happened? 35 to 65 seconds. Describe the series of events that led to you being lost. Suggested ideas. 1. Initial mistake. Wrong turn, misread map, followed wrong crowd. 2. Realization. Sense of confusion, retracing steps, checking landmarks. 3. Escalation. Increased anxiety, longer delay, growing uncertainty. Example sentences. At one point, I took a wrong turn because I misread the map on my phone. After walking for 10 minutes, I realized the landmarks didn't match, and retracing my steps only made me more unsure of where I was. 4. Feelings and reactions, 65 to 95 seconds. Share your emotional response during the situation. Suggested ideas. 1. Negative emotions. Rising panic, frustration, embarrassment. 2. Physical sensations. Racing heartbeat, tense muscles, quickened breathing. 3. Mental strategies. Staying calm, thinking logically, recalling past experiences. Example sentences. Initially, I felt a wave of panic, with my heart racing as I realized how lost I was. However, I tried to stay calm, reminding myself that I had managed similar situations before. 5. How you found your way, 95 to 115 seconds. Explain how you got help or solved the problem. Suggested ideas. 1. Asking for help. Approached a local, polite request, body language. 2. Using tools. Navigation app, paper map, GPS signal. 3. Guided assistance. Being escorted, given clear directions, using landmarks. Example sentences. Eventually, I approached a shopkeeper and, using a mix of English and gestures, explained my situation. She kindly walked me to the main road and pointed out a landmark I could follow. 6. Conclusion, 115 to 120 seconds. End with a reflection or takeaway. Suggested ideas. 1. Lesson learned. Importance of preparation, awareness, adaptability. 2. Positive perspective. Meeting kind strangers, memorable story, cultural experience. 3. Future action. Better planning, offline maps, keeping contact numbers handy. Example sentences. In the end, getting lost taught me the importance of carrying an offline map and staying composed under pressure. It also reminded me that kindness from strangers can turn a stressful moment into a meaningful memory. Sample answer. Describe an occasion when you got lost and needed help. One occasion when I got genuinely lost and needed assistance was during a solo trip to Bangkok last year, when I was exploring the city for the very first time. It was an unexpected navigational mishap that turned into a surprisingly memorable adventure. It happened in the early evening near Chatuchak Market, a bustling commercial hub filled with narrow lanes, countless stalls, and throngs of people. I had just finished shopping and decided to take a different route back to my hotel, thinking it would be quicker. Unfortunately, that decision backfired. As I wandered deeper into the market's maze, my phone battery died, which meant no map, no translation app, and no way to contact anyone. I ended up in a completely unfamiliar neighborhood, surrounded by signs in Thai script that I couldn't read. The more I walked, the more disoriented I became, and my confidence started to fade. Initially, I felt a mix of frustration and anxiety, especially because night was approaching and I was in an area with very few tourists. However, I also experienced a sense of humility, realizing how dependent I had become on technology for navigation. There was a moment when I had to pause, take a deep breath, and remind myself to stay calm. Eventually, I approached a friendly street vendor and, using basic English and a few Thai words I knew, explained my situation. She kindly pointed me toward the nearest BTS Skitran station and even walked with me part of the way to make sure I didn't get lost again. Within half an hour, I was safely back at my hotel, feeling relieved and grateful. Looking back, this experience taught me the importance of staying composed under pressure, being resourceful, and relying on the kindness of strangers when necessary. It turned what could have been a disaster into a valuable travel lesson. Vocabulary highlights. Disoriented in unfamiliar surroundings. Confused due to being in an unknown place. Unfamiliar territory. An area you have never been to before. Sense of vulnerability. Feeling unprotected or at risk. Seek assistance. Ask someone for help. Navigate back to safety. Find your way to a secure or familiar location. Moment of panic. A short period of intense fear or anxiety. Random act of kindness. A helpful action from a stranger with no expectation of reward. Overcome disorientation. Regain clarity and sense of direction. Grammar insights. Complex and compound sentences enhance narrative flow. For example, although I initially felt a wave of panic when I realized I had wandered into completely unfamiliar territory, I managed to calm myself and seek assistance from a local shopkeeper. Past simple for recounting events. Past continuous for describing background situations. For example, I was exploring a narrow alley in the old town when I suddenly noticed I had lost sight of my friends. Cause and effect to link problem and resolution. For example, because I had no internet connection, I relied entirely on directions given by a kind passerby. IELTS tips. Blend sensory details with emotions. Describe what you saw, heard, and felt to make the listener feel part of the experience. Include a resolution that shows personal growth. End the story with how the experience changed you or what you learned. Band 9 qualities demonstrated. Precise, situation-specific vocabulary. Natural collocations, seek assistance. Unfamiliar territory, navigate back. Logical sequencing. Context, problem, action, resolution, reflection. Smooth linking devices, although, because, eventually, ultimately. Emotional depth beyond basic storytelling. 50 academic collocations with simple explanations. 1. Climate resilience, the ability to withstand climate changes. 2. Sustainable infrastructure, buildings and systems that protect the environment. 3. Renewable energy adoption, using solar, wind, or other eco-friendly power. 4. Carbon footprint reduction, lowering the amount of greenhouse gases produced. 5. Environmental degradation, the decline in natural environment quality. 6. Biodiversity conservation, protecting different plant and animal species. 7. Urban sustainability, making cities eco-friendly and livable. 8. Water resource management, planning the use of water efficiently. 9. Ecosystem restoration, returning nature to its healthy state. 10. Greenhouse gas mitigation, reducing harmful gases in the atmosphere. 11. Renewable resource utilization, using natural sources that can be replaced. 12. Environmental policy reform, changing laws to protect nature. 13. Natural disaster preparedness, being ready for floods, storms, etc. 14. Sustainable agriculture, farming without harming the planet. 15. Waste management systems, organizing the disposal and recycling of trash. 16. Pollution control measures, actions to reduce harmful substances in air, water, or land. 17. Energy efficiency improvements, making systems use less power. 18. Deforestation prevention, stopping the cutting down of forests. 19. Urban green spaces, parks and gardens in cities. 20. Air quality monitoring, checking pollution levels in the atmosphere. 21. Climate change adaptation, adjusting to new weather patterns. 22. Sustainable transportation, eco-friendly travel like biking or electric cars. 23. Wildlife protection programs, efforts to keep animals safe from harm. 24. Soil fertility enhancement, improving the richness of soil. 25. Water pollution prevention, stopping harmful substances from entering water sources. 26. Sustainable fishing practices, catching fish without harming marine life. 27. Coastal zone management, protecting beaches and sea areas. 28. Renewable technology innovation, new ideas for clean energy. 29. Recycling initiatives, programs to reuse materials. 30. Eco-friendly architecture, building designs that save energy and resources. 31. Climate risk assessment, checking the dangers caused by climate change. 32. Wildlife habitat preservation, protecting the homes of animals. 33. Global warming awareness, educating people about rising temperatures. 34. Low carbon economy, economy that produces little carbon dioxide. 35. Forest regeneration projects, programs to grow back lost forests. 36. Energy transition strategy, moving from fossil fuels to clean energy. 37. Urban heat island effect, cities becoming hotter than rural areas. 38. Sustainable lifestyle choices, daily habits that help the environment. 39. Climate action planning, making a plan to fight climate change. 40. Environmental education programs, teaching people how to protect nature. 41. Renewable investment incentives, rewards for funding clean energy projects. 42. Climate justice movement, fair treatment in environmental issues. 43. Ocean acidification awareness, understanding the impact of pollution on seas. 44. Sustainable supply chains, environmentally friendly product production. 45. Energy conservation practices, habits to save power. 46. Zero waste initiatives, efforts to produce no garbage. 47. Public transportation promotion, encouraging people to use buses and trains. 48. Green innovation hubs, centers for eco-friendly inventions. 49. Circular economy model, reusing materials instead of wasting them. 50. Long-term ecological balance, keeping nature healthy over time.